They spend years training the best doctors, engineers, and scientists only to watch them board a plane and never come back. This is the silent economic tragedy draining poor countries from the inside. Every year, millions of the brightest minds from developing nations leave home in search of better opportunities abroad. It sounds like progress, a globalized workforce, freedom of movement, a better life. But behind this movement lies an invisible cost. Entire economies losing the very people they invested years educating. Today, we're exploring the tragic reality of brain drain, why it happens, how it devastates poor countries, and what can actually be done to stop it. Imagine a small African nation that trains 1,000 doctors. Within 5 years, half of them are gone, working in London, Toronto, or Sydney. The government paid for their education, families sacrificed for their studies, yet the benefit flows to another country. This is brain drain, or more technically, the emigration of skilled professionals and educated workers from developing countries to richer ones. It's not new. It's been happening since the 1960s, but globalization, inequality, and targeted visa programs have made it explode. According to the World Bank, over one-third of all skilled workers from sub-Saharan Africa now live and work abroad. In some smaller nations like Jamaica, Guyana, and Haiti, over 80% of college graduates have emigrated. To understand brain drain, we need to see both sides, the push factors at home and the pull factors abroad. Push factors: low wages that can't sustain a middle-class life, political instability, corruption, or weak governance, lack of career opportunities or research funding, poor working conditions and outdated infrastructure. Pull factors: higher salaries and better quality of life in richer nations, advanced research facilities and technology access, more stable governments and personal freedoms, global mobility and recognition for talent. Take, for example, nurses from the Philippines. They are among the most respected healthcare workers in the world, yet their average salary at home is around $400 a month. In the US or the UK, that figure can jump to over $4,000. For many, the choice isn't really a choice, it's survival. When a skilled worker leaves, their home country loses more than just a person. It loses an investment. According to the OECD, it costs an average of $50,000 to $100,000 to fully educate a doctor in a developing country. When that doctor emigrates, the return on that public investment evaporates. The wealthier country gets a trained professional for free, without paying the training costs. Let's take an example. Malawi, one of the poorest countries in the world, trained hundreds of nurses through public programs in the 2000s. Within a decade, nearly 70% of them left for the UK, South Africa, and the US. The result? Local hospitals faced critical shortages. Patients died not for lack of medicine, but for lack of staff. That's the vicious cycle. Poor countries educate, rich countries recruit, and poverty deepens. Every economy relies on human capital, the skills and creativity of its people. When that capital leaves, productivity falls. Industries struggle to modernize, public services decline, and innovation stalls. Think about it. How can a nation build factories, digital startups, or hospitals if its engineers and doctors are gone? Highly skilled professionals are top taxpayers. When they leave, government revenues shrink, cutting budgets for education and healthcare even further. Here's the cruel irony. The more educated a country becomes, the higher the likelihood of brain drain. As soon as people gain the skills to compete globally, they leave for better conditions elsewhere. Economists call this the brain drain paradox. Education becomes an export rather than a foundation for growth. In sub-Saharan Africa, There's roughly one doctor for every 5,000 people. In the UK, it's one for every 300. Yet thousands of African doctors work in British hospitals. It's not just a numbers problem, it's a life or death issue. The World Health Organization estimates that Africa loses around $2 billion annually in healthcare costs because of medical brain drain. So here's the question that divides economists and ethicists alike. Do people have a moral duty to stay and help their country, or a right to pursue a better life? From a moral perspective, it's easy to say they should stay. But imagine working 10 years in a hospital without medicine, equipment, or fair pay. Would you stay? Governments try to restrict migration with service contracts or return requirements, but enforcing them often backfires. People simply find ways around them. After all, no one wants to feel trapped in their own country. So, is there any way to balance fairness with freedom? Believe it or not, economists have found that some brain drain can actually help. Here's how. When people see that education opens global doors, they're more motivated to study. That increases the total number of skilled workers, even if some emigrate. Countries like India and China experienced this during the 1990s. Millions left, yes, but many also returned later, bringing new skills, ideas, and capital home. In 2024, global remittances surpassed $860 billion, according to the World Bank. That's more than 3 times the total global foreign aid. A significant chunk comes from skilled workers sending money to support families or invest in small businesses back home. For example, in Nepal, remittances make up over 20% of GDP. In the Philippines, it's around 10%. These flows help reduce poverty, fund education, and stabilize fragile economies. Transfer. When emigrants build careers abroad, they often stay connected, teaching online, mentoring students, or starting cross-border businesses. Silicon Valley's Indian engineers, for instance, played a huge role in developing India's tech boom through remote collaboration and investment. So, yes, brain drain can evolve into brain circulation if countries know how to channel it. But here's the turning point, the tragic reality beneath all the optimism. Most poor countries never reach that brain circulation stage. Why? Because they lack the institutions, policies, and infrastructure to bring talent back. Let's visualize it. Picture 2 parallel worlds. World A, a Nigerian doctor emigrates to Canada, builds a career, and invests in healthcare back home through telemedicine and training programs. World B, another Nigerian doctor emigrates, cuts ties, and settles permanently abroad because of corruption, instability, or lack of opportunity to return. In World A, the system is strong enough to absorb returning talent. In World B, it collapses, and that's the reality for most of the Global South. Data from the International Organization for Migration shows that fewer than 15% of skilled emigrants ever return to their home countries to work permanently. For the rest, home becomes a memory, not a mission. And when too many of a country's best minds leave, something irreversible happens. The culture of progress fades. Universities lose mentors. Hospitals lose teachers. Young people lose hope. It's not just a brain drain, it's a dream drain. Let's be clear, wealthy nations benefit immensely from brain drain. The US, Canada, Germany, and the UK all run targeted visa programs to attract foreign talent. The UK's Health and Care Visa was specifically designed to recruit doctors and nurses from abroad. Canada's Express Entry system prioritizes engineers, programmers, and academics. The U.S. relies on international students and H-1B visa holders to power its tech and research sectors. These policies save rich countries billions in training costs and fill labor gaps instantly. But it's a zero-sum game. Every skilled immigrant that the global North gains, the global South loses. And yet, without these workers, hospitals and labs in rich countries would grind to a halt. So the system persists, quietly, profitably, and unfairly. Fixing brain drain isn't simple. It requires cooperation between the very countries benefiting from it and those suffering because of it. But several strategies have shown promise. Invest in local research funding, innovation hubs, and decent wages. Countries like Rwanda have built programs to bring researchers back through competitive grants and modern labs. Turn expatriates into partners, not losses. India's success with its global tech diaspora through mentorship networks and investment programs proves this works. Collaborations between universities in rich and poor countries can allow talent exchange without permanent loss. Examples include medical training programs that rotate professionals between countries. The World Health Organization's Global Code of Practice encourages rich nations to avoid recruiting health workers from the most vulnerable countries. While voluntary, it's a step toward fairness. With the rise of digital platforms, skilled workers can now contribute globally without emigrating physically. If supported with the right digital infrastructure, this could change the equation entirely. Brain drain is not just about migration, it's about inequality. It's about the global economy rewarding those who already have power, while stripping hope from those who don't. It's about governments investing in dreams, only to watch them fly away. But it doesn't have to stay that way. If developing countries can transform emigration into collaboration, if rich countries can take responsibility for fair recruitment, and if global talent can flow both ways, then maybe, just maybe, brain drain can turn into brain exchange. Because in the end, a world that hoards talent will stagnate, but a world that shares it will thrive.
And if you enjoyed the video, make sure to like and subscribe, and check out the channel to find more amazing and new videos.